Hi everyone, and welcome to this November webinar. My name is Michael Nahmias. I'm the new SysAid Academy supervisor. I've been with SysAid for about 2 years, served as an account manager in the customer relations department, so some of you might have spoken to me over the phone or communicated via email. And with me, I'm happy to have Hanan Baranes. He's our professional services team leader. How are you, Hanan?
Great, thank you. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you. This is our first webinar
Your
together.
first webinar.
My first webinar, but ours together. So today we're going to speak about tricks and tweaks to maximize your SysAid. Basically, all sorts of small things that you can do to improve your processes. Let's go over the course agenda. Okay, so these are the topics that we're going to cover today. We're going to cover some very nice list functionalities that some of you might be familiar with, some of you might not. We'll see some very cool escalation rules, how escalation rules can help us improve our response times. We'll see some very cool notification tweaks that can help you do a lot of stuff. Form customizations. I know a lot of you are asking about that in the customer relation, so we'll see some of that. We'll see how to work with companies versus groups in SysAid, and very, very cool, just to top it off, a very cool static filter that we added in this version, a functionality that we added in version 9. So let's jump right into the SysAid list. So just to start it off, say you're hiring a dispatcher. You have a dispatcher role in your organization, just like we do here in SysAid. And you'll see that this is our SysAid list. You see that you have a category column here. So just by looking at this column, I can see that I have 7 problems related to server. So I can just click all these 7 and say I know that I have an admin called Jimmy Page, plays great guitar, by the way. So he takes care of server problems in my organization. So I can just assign this to Jimmy Page and click set, and that's that. The service requests are all assigned to Jimmy Page. Let's take another case where you get spam. If you're using email integration, like we do here in SysAid, occasionally you can get spam mail. So you can just check all the spam mail. You can identify them from the list. You can see that it's not an email that you recognize, and you can just either delete it and purge it from the database, or set the status to deleted, which is even better, because you can just later take a look at it if you want to, if you made a mistake and you decided that you do need this material. And we have the more functions buttons right here, where you can set urgency, okay, from urgent, of course, to low. You can set the ticket to archive if it's closed. This is something that we added in version 9 to comply with the Pink Elephant protocol. And you can even set it to a custom list if you have one. Okay, so you just saw 3 ways of maximizing the work with your list and improving your basically response time, because you're doing things a lot faster. Speaking about response time.
By the way, didn't brought us all the way just to speak about this.
Oh no, of course not. And like Hanan says, we're going to show you a lot of cool stuff. Yeah. Hanan got all the cool stuff. I got all the less cool stuff.
I just want to mention that we. Sorry about that. Sorry. I just want to mention that we gather a lot of questions that we have on a daily basis.
Right.
raised by or asked by our customers, how do I do that or how do I do this in SysAid, and we just decided to focus on the most common questions, and this is why we selected, for example, the list functionality, because it's a question that keep coming on a daily basis to our help desk.
Right. And speaking about questions, we get a lot of questions, and one of the challenges, you know, our customers face on a day-to-day basis is response time. Okay, how can we improve the response time?
Okay, so in order to do that, we use Escalation Rule right here in SysAid.
Yes.
And let me take you back again to the software itself, and I will show you exactly how using response time and statuses inside the software can help you to reduce the response time. So let's go to Service Desk Setting and go into Escalation Rule, and let's create a new Escalation Rule. Okay? And let's tell the system, please. Let's assume that we have tickets about reset password. And whenever a question about reset password comes in, we have always the same answers, that is keep answering the customers, do the following steps, or a direction to the knowledge base articles, or whatever answer that we have inside our help desk. So what we can do, we can create escalation rule, call it reset password response. What it will do, it will work on all ticket in status reset password. We can create this kind of status inside our list. Reset password. We can tell the system escalate when more than 0 hours and 1 minute has passed since last modified time. Means whenever I will change the ticket to this specific status, automatically 1 minute after that, this escalation rule will apply to this ticket. I will decide to notify the end user who sends the service request, and here I can write all the answer that I want regarding the reset password. It will look something: in order to reset your password, you should do the following. Okay, and I can put here a link. Sorry if I have any typo, but I can do the following and so on. And I can put a link to a knowledge base article.
Yes.
I can put here a link to a document that I have in some kind of a shared location. I can put instruction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps in order to do what it needs to do. And what else I will do in order to complete this specific escalation rule, I will just change the status later on to something like, sorry, this is the status, to something like awaiting response, because I've sent a response to the client, to the customer, and I'm waiting to respond. Why do I change the status? Because I don't want the escalation rule to apply on this specific ticket again and again and again. And I will click on add rule. Click here, added reset password response rule. And again, I'll click on add. And from now on, we have a new escalation rule.
Great.
How it fits with what you did just previously. Let's assume that I'm working on the list right here, and I see something that is related to reset password. The only thing I need to do, highlight the relevant ticket, set the status to reset password, click on set. From now on, automatically the system will send the email based on this escalation rule, and let SysAid work for you. This is what I'm telling to my customer as part of the professional services that we work with. Let SysAid work for you. Let SysAid do the job for you. Set it up correctly, and from now on, it will do all the automatic options and all the automatic things that you want to do on a daily basis. Sorry. And in this example, all tickets regarding reset password, automatic response. Basically done, because if you set the knowledge base article correctly, if you have the response, if you build the response correctly, all of these tickets apply in no time.
Right. Yes, if, like Hanan said, if you set the right instructions, you can basically sometimes close the ticket with just one email.
Even the dispatcher can do that in most cases.
And now
I'm gonna focus. Yeah.
we'll continue with this, okay? Because say I've sent the email and it doesn't end with one email, I still get either a reply from the customer, or better yet, I don't get a reply from the customer and I want to follow it up.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's show how we can handle that.
So again, let's see if it works for you. And again, we're going, sorry, to the escalation rule. Let the escalation rule do the automatic job for you.
Yes.
And we have created two rules that will automatically ask the end user on a scheduled time, that I will show you exactly how did I do that in the system. On a scheduled time, we'll ask the end user, hey, we didn't get any response from you. Can you please reply on the status of this ticket?
Yes.
And by the way, if you will not answer at the end, the system can even close the ticket automatically, because no response from the end user probably indicates that the issue has been solved. How do we do that? In order to do that, we've created two escalation rules. One of them is send message after 7 days, and the second escalation rule is close service request after 14 days. How the first rule has been set. Here you can see all the details that have been set for this specific. Escalate service records with type incidents with status awaiting response. You remember when we did the first escalation rule, we moved it from status reset password to awaiting response. Triggers on 56 hours and 0 minutes. By the way, this is linked to the operating times.
Yes.
56 hours indicates 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, and this will indicate like 7 days. After modify time, and what do? Notify end user and change status to follow up. We wanted to also have indication that this ticket has been followed up with the end user.
Yes.
We can log in here clicking by modify C. We can see that we tell the escalation rule to set to waiting response, and then escalates when 56 hours mean 7 working days.
Yes.
In our example, since the last modified time, because the end user didn't reply back. We notify the end user and we can tell him, hey, you can customize dear end user, you haven't replied in the last 7 days, and I can tell him, pay attention please, if you will not reply in the following 7 days, two tickets will be closed. And then I change the status right here to follow up. And the second escalation rule that I've created basically is close the service request after 14 days if the end user hasn't replied. Same logic, escalate service records with type incidents with status follow-up, triggers again additional 56 hours, additional 7 days in our operating hours. After modify time, notify again the end user and change status to closed.
Great.
And this is in using the escalation rule. I don't know, at least customers that I work with, I show them this, but all of the customers can use existing capabilities of the software.
Yes.
No special customization, no special coding, no anything. Using the existing functionality of the system, we have used the list, we have reduced response time, and we'll let SysAid work for us. And this is what I again always tell the customer: let SysAid do the job for you.
Definitely. Great. So let's continue with letting SysAid doing the job for us, okay? Another very common question that we get from our customers is about notifications. I mean, everybody knows that we have notifications in SysAid and that we can customize them. But, usually they come as plain text, and a lot of customers would like to make them, a little nicer colors, logos, to personalize them to their company. Now, could you show us how to do that?
Yes, of course. This is why I'm here. Let me help you with that. Sorry, I switched to camera. Let's go to screen again. And by the way, we did a very, very, very simple example, highlighting the title of the email, just emphasizing the different fields inside the email itself. And again, the more how do I can use the word, if you improve the look and feel of the emails, it will improve the response from the end user.
Definitely.
You see a nice email, it looks good.
People react better.
People react better. Yeah, if you see just plain text,
Yes.
it starts to look for the information. Here the information is
And
emphasized,
it's
clear.
really a lot clearer. You don't have to look for everything.
Yeah. So if you would like your specific notification to look like that, the only thing that you need to do is to go to Customize. You go to Notifications, and here you have a lot of options, a lot of different notifications
Yes.
that you can customize inside the system. We will focus on the two important ones. One of them is called the email body to administrator regarding service record. These are the notifications that will be sent to the assigned to or the admin group associated with a specific ticket. And email body, to end user regarding the service record. These are the emails that will be sent
Yes.
to end user. And by the way, you can see in our example that this is the email that has been sent to the admin. Whereas if we will search for that, I think no,
That,
no. Let me look. A lot of examples that we did.
Yeah.
Michael, I think. Oh, one last chance. If not, we'll drop it up. Believe us that we've created.
Yes. Jennifer Lopez, I think, should be the user.
And well, believe us that we had an example.
Yeah,
You
I
can
think
create.
the deleted one was a good example actually.
Yeah.
But okay.
You can create different notifications to end user and different notifications to admin. And by the way, the code, for example, looks like that. It's smaller. I mean, it's small, I know. So let me open just a second. Let me open a notepad for you. And this is basically how the HTML will look like. You can see I will not teach you HTML during this specific session, but you can see with just if you have any person inside the organization with basic HTML skills, so he can build with font tags and just with a regular table tag in HTML to build the table. It's like table with columns, and you can say TR will stands for a row and TD will stands for a column, and you can control the font, which type of font. You can control the color, and so on. You can control the width and the height, by the way, of each and every row or cell inside this table, and this will give your notification a better look. By the way, all the dollar signs that you can see right here on the screens are actual values that will be used from the service request itself.
So these are basically, so the public understands, are data containers, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This will be filled whenever this notification will be triggered from the system. This will be filled with the actual category of the service request. For example, this will be filled with the actual subcategory, and so on and so forth. I would like to show just a little small example from notifications. Not only that you can put the data of the ticket inside the notification itself, you can also put some logic constraints or logic clauses inside the notification itself. For example, I can use the if statement. I believe most of you from the IT department know what's if-else condition in coding languages. So you can say, for example, if $SR get SR type, for example, this will give us the type of the service request. If it's an incident, if it's a problem, if it's a change, and so if it's a request. So I can even give different notifications or send different notifications for different types of entities in the system. If it's a, again, request, problem, change, and so on and so forth. So for example, inside if the SR type equals 1 indicates it's an incident, I would like to include this specific code inside my notification, and I can put some role logic constraints. And by the way, each and every if statement should be closed with an end statement. And this is basically how you can control. If you would like to see all the relevant dollar signs that can be used, you can click here on the question mark on the top right section of the screen. It will take you exactly automatically to our.
Can you just move the?
Just let me scroll it or move it
There you go.
And this will guide you to our page sensitive help.
Yes.
That will put you directly under the customized notification section. And here you have all the relevant instructions, include all the relevant $signs that can be used inside the notification itself. And so easily, if we'll take it from the bottom, we saw the list, we improve the response time, we show how SysAid can work for us, and we can show how using nice notification can improve the response from our end users. And I think, again, invest some time in building right and clear notifications.
Yes.
Believe me, it will improve the response time.
I'm sure.
The interaction with the
Yes.
end user, and they will be more responsive to answer or read even the
Yes.
emails that are being sent from the help desk today.
Yes. You know, one thing that I would want again to mention for the notifications, other things that you can include in the notifications, like in your automatic messages, we have, for instance, and that you can ask your account manager, the link to the relevant service request.
Of course.
Okay, so just by a link, the customer can, actually the administrator can access the relevant service request without even going into the help desk. Just another example that you can do with the notifications. So we'll continue with the cool stuff, and I have I don't know if it's a complicated question for you, but we'll see. Okay, I'll move to the screen if you don't mind. Now I know that there's our mouse. That if I go to a service request, and okay, and we have the request user right here. If I click on the show details, just move the screen back here, then I can see all the relevant service requests for that request user, everything that he submitted. But say I'm working in a large company, I know who's the user, but I want to know what were all the service requests submitted by the company the user belongs to. Do we have something that can help us do that?
Yeah, of course that we have. We have prepared the webinar in advance, don't worry about that. It's a question that's being asked a lot about MSPs. MSPs is managed service providers.
Right.
It's our organization or companies that provide IT services to multiple organizations. And this question is being asked a lot. Think that you are providing service to different companies, and now a ticket comes in from a specific user to this company, and you would like to see all tickets related to this specific company. So we would like to share with you this specific setting. And again, all of these are projects that we did already in the past.
And we're just giving them to you now for free.
And let me show exactly how we do that. In order to do that, we have created a field. Let me drag it again here. We have created a field that's called company. Of course, I will show you exactly how I did it. It's called company tickets link. And if I will put it just below the company right here in the form itself, clicking on save, you will see right here that this is the company that the user is associated with. Let's select a user that is associated with the company. It will be easier. You know what? Let me do the following. Let's associate El Bundy with Acme's. So we can see that the request user is Al Bundy. We can see that the company is associated with Acme. And now, let's click on apply. Let's open due date. Apply. So if I'll scroll down, and now if I will click on this specific link, this page will open in a new tab. By the way, I can keep working on my original tab. In a new tab, it will open a new list of the tickets, but automatically filtered by the company called Acme. So if I'm working with one company, whenever a ticket comes in, I can see automatically all the relevant tickets associated to this company, and maybe I can solve all issues in one time. And this is, by the way, functionality that does not exist in the software, but with simple customization can be achieved. How we do that? Very easily, and we will share this code with you. if I will go, how did we created, by the way, this company tickets link right here. So if I'll go to customize, entities, I will go to service record, and this is basically the code in order to create this specific link. I've emptied all the relevant because I don't need this link in the list. I don't need it in the mobile. I don't need it in the server-side validation. I don't need all of these fields. I need to use only something called displayed in form.
Okay.
By the way, this issue is linked to previous webinar that we had about customizing the system, entities, API, triggers. And by the way, we got a lot of requests to do these sessions again and emphasize on each and every topic. So be prepared. Next year we will have specific webinars on custom columns and specific webinars on API and specific webinars on triggers.
Right.
So this is basically the code. Let's see the code. Let's put it again in a big screen. Let's delete this HTML and let me show you exactly what we have in this code. Okay, right here. So these two lines are declarations. If some of you knows or familiar with programming language, these are declarations of objects that we will use. One of them is the service request, and the second object that we will use is the user. Here we take the object that we work in, and we tell the system, take this object and make it a service request. This is automatically, this is called casting operation. And then I will take the user that is associated to this ticket. As you could see on the screen, I'm doing basically the steps that are in the screen. I'm inside the ticket has request user, so I'm taking the request user from the ticket. You can see sr.getRequestUser object. And if we have a user, by the way, this is just a line to avoid any errors in the code. If we do have users, we will write to the screen exactly this is a link in HTML. href will tell him, hey, please go to the helpdesk.jsp. This is the line, this is the URL of the helpdesk. Put it in list view name. The list will be default, okay? Reset params is used in order not tell the system not to remember the filtering options. I don't know, maybe too complex and maybe going into a lot of details about what each and every parameter URL is saying, but basically we want this filter to apply only on this request, because whenever we will go to a different company, we want a different filter to be applied. So this is how we tell the system, okay, after...
Basically clear the old definitions to start over.
And we can give, what's we're left here is the list.company. This is exactly the company ID. And here I'm putting the actual company of the user. Target, by the way, target equals _blank will tell it to open in a new page. And this is what the link indicates, company tickets. So this is basically the code. I'm sharing with you all the things that are inside this code, so you will know to read it whenever it will be sent over to you. And again, I don't need to save it. And this is basically how it's done. Just create a new field, empty all other fields right here. Just leave display in form, put this link inside, put this code inside, and it will automatically work for you. And MSPs and people who provide, by the way, it doesn't have to be company. If you would like to put it based on user departments. If you would like it based on, what else? User as locations, for example. User locations also can be applied. Can be applied to many, almost any value inside the user itself. So you can focus on the specific tickets.
Now, I just want to mention all the code pieces that you saw today in the webinar. We're going to attach them all to our YouTube video. We have a YouTube channel, and they're all going to be available for you to use and modify. You can ask questions about it. If you don't understand something, you can, of course, contact us at training@sysaid.com or contact me directly at michael.nachmias@sysaid.com. Now, let's just continue. We were speaking about companies and MSPs, and like you said, MSP clients manage usually a lot of, more than one company, a lot of companies. Now the good thing in SysAid that we have the company's entity where we can actually segregate users and segregate admins per different companies. And with MSPs, because there are usually non-related companies, we don't want to see the other's service requests. So I just want to demonstrate how can we do that in SysAid. So let's go to our user management. Okay, and under user management we have companies. You see that I set up two companies. One is called Acme and one is called PaperMax. And what we can do, and again, using the list, you don't, excuse me, okay?
No.
Using the list, I just went to the end user list, and we have a similar list here. I'll just take off the filter for a second. Okay, using the list, we can actually assign users to different companies. How do we do that? We can just select multiple users, okay, and assign them. Excuse me. I will set the company to Acme. Okay, so I've just segregated a bunch of users from my LDAP, by the way, that were imported from our Active Directory to a different company. Now I can take a look at the list and filter by Acme, and I can see all the users that I have in Acme. We can do the same to administrators. Okay, let's say that Jimmy Page is responsible for the Acme company. I will set him as Acme as well. Okay, now Jimmy Page is part of the Acme company. Now, what I can do, because Jimmy Page is an administrator and he's responsible over the Acme company, I can go in to the Permissions tab and I can limit Jimmy Page to see his own company data only. Okay, so from now on, once I save, we'll apply. Whenever Jimmy Page is going to log into the system, he's going to actually see only things related with the Acme company, which is great. It means that he won't have access to any other service requests, even statuses that are related to a different company, he won't be able to see. So it's a total segregation. Okay?
You said not user, but not only users, but also assets.
Yes.
CMDB items, software products, anything in the system.
Across the board.
Yeah, anything in the system that is related to this company, you will be able to see only this.
Yes.
So what I'm emphasizing in most cases to my customers that even though you were standing in the permission tab, they need to pay attention that this is not a permission, this is a restriction.
Right.
So even though all of these are granting some options to your end user view service request, this actually restricts. So this is, even though it's under what's called permission tab.
Exactly.
And we decided to show that because this question is we keep getting this question again and again and again and again and again. How do we restrict users to see only relevant data to a specific company? I think, by the way, Michael, that we skipped, we have 10 minutes, but we skipped an issue about the form customization in our previous topic. And I would like to show them how to create different types of forms for different types of requests.
Yes.
Okay? So, for example, let's, if we go to the end user perspective, and the end user would like to submit different types of requests. Do we have an example already?
We have an example already, but we have it from the admin perspective.
Okay, sorry, so
so we'll move to the admin.
So let's assume that for different types of incidents or for different types of requests, you want a different type of form.
Yes.
Different fields to be filled by the end users or by the admins based on the request or the incident. And if we'll add a new service request, we can see that if we'll select finance subtype or finance ticket, we can see that these fields needs to be filled out. And if we will go to human resource, basically the form has been changed. I don't know how many of you has had a chance to see that the form layout has been changed.
The first
first four fields have been changed, and different layouts has been applied, or different fields have been applied to this type of request. How it can be achieved in the system, and I would like to focus from the end user perspective. We have 3 steps in order to do that. Okay, 3? I hope 3. Let's in Israel we say everything is split into 3 steps, so I'm usually using 3, but let's try to keep it in 3 steps. The first step that you will have to do, you will have to start from service desk, subtypes, and you will declare the system that you have 2 types of subtype. Let's call it form 1, okay, FRM1. Oh, sorry, I created from type change. Sorry, my mistake. Again, we'll select incident, and we will select FRM. Let's call it form 1. Clicking on OK, and we will create a new one. And again, from type incident will be called form 2. This is step number 1. What I did, I just declared to the system that I have 2 types of forms in the incident section. The second thing that I will do, I will go to the service desk setting, I will go to the quick list, and I will associate these subtypes to a quick list. Why? Sometimes we don't have a good answer, to be honest. But in order to associate subtypes in the end user perspective,
we have to do it
via quick list. And we will create some new quick list. And let's call it quick list description. It will be like form 1. And it will be, the class will be like custom 1. And you can, here, you will make it visible to the end user. And you will associate the specific subtype that we created, and we will set categories because we have to, and we can set the title to be form 1, and we will click on OK, and we have declared the first form layout. We will do the same to the second one, and again it will be like form 2, and it will be from the same class custom 1. And it will be visible to the end user. It will be associated now to the different second subtype that we've created. Data center and backup. Again, just randomly I select. Of course, I can create categories for that. Title will be form 2. Clicking on OK. We have 2 types of forms. Remember, first step, subtypes. Second step, quick list. Third step, customize. End user submit incident form, clicking on the cogwheel, and you can decide. Let me take the screen that has been opened here, and you can set for each and every subtype form 1 what will be the actual fields that will be included. Just of course I do it roughly to include all of these fields in form 1, clicking on save, again on the cogwheel, just to emphasize the difference. I will select now form 2, and inside form 2 I want only title and description. Clicking on save, and now let's go to, so I made my work 3 steps. Subtypes, quick list, customize end user incident form, and now let's see from the end user perspective, submit an incident, and now if the end user will select form 1, he will see this kind of form, and he will have to fill out all these. And if he will select form 2, the form will look like that.
And form 1, form 2 could be actually departments, anything that we can think of.
So in 3 steps, we have created 2 types of forms to the end user using the existing functionality of the system. I did nothing special. Didn't code anything, using the existing options within the software. And by the way, these questions, and again, just emphasizing, this question, we have tons of these questions, how to set different forms for the different types. We have 5 minutes just to let you know.
We're almost ready to wrap it up, but we promised one thing to wrap it up, one last cool thing. We've added a new functionality in this version. We can basically filter by logged in user. Let's show the audience how to do that.
Okay. So again, take you back to our screen, and repeatedly we got some questions or requests. How can I fill this list automatically by the logged in user?
And this was a special project that turned into a feature, right?
Yeah. A lot of special projects eventually turns into feature by the end of the day. So people say, why do I have to log in every time to set the assign to select me as a relevant assign to? I want to focus only on the tickets that are currently assigned to me, and I want the system to do it automatically for me.
Yes.
So we can do it, by the way, through the permission, but let's assume that we didn't do it that way. And we can, by the way, get some more if our customers that now listens to us use their imagination how they can use this static filter for other options. But basically, what they can do is we have create my service request view. I click on customize view, and this tag that called $login username can be used now in any static filter or any filter that is currently is listed right here in the list of available filters in the list. This $sign can be used, and on runtime will be replaced with the actual logged in user through the software. So here we did something very easily. We said responsibility equals
assigned to.
Yeah, which is assigned to equals the logged in user. And this is, by the way, a very nice feature, very nice to filter lists inside the software in the help desk. Filter list based on the logged in user.
Just one clarification about static filters. What we put in the static filters is, if we were constructing an SQL query, that would be the where part, right?
Yeah. Okay. This will be placed in the where part of the SQL query. And remember, the $logged in username is very nice to put a static filter based on the currently logged in user. So we eventually covered most of the issues. We didn't go enough deeply into company versus groups as we had in our agenda, by the way. It's right here. But I think we covered most of the issues that we wanted.
We didn't miss a lot. So basically, we're almost done. Just to wrap everything up, what we've learned today. Okay, and these are stuff that we're talking about and we'll be talking about in our certification course, upcoming certification course on November 26th. By the way, it's the early bird last day tomorrow, so I urge you to run and register. So through the entire webinar, we were talking about workflow. Set your workflow, get a workflow together so you can manage your IT department efficiently. Set up the roles, okay? The roles in your organization. Set up, invest time in understanding each department so you can construct the workflow, okay? And just you can make some sort of a list, okay? Take a pen, sheet of paper, and follow these simple rules. Write down what you're doing today and what you would like to do in the future, and be brave and creative. Try to understand exactly why you're doing things. Don't just do them. Okay? So this is just a quick example of how you can do your pros and cons and what you have today and what you would like to do tomorrow. And with this, basically, I would like to thank Hanan for being us today, and thank you, our viewers, for watching us. We'll see you on our next webinar. We expect to get your feedback on this webinar and what you would like to do in the next webinars. Have a great day.